With the goal of creating solutions that truly meet the needs and expectations of users, design thinking provides a structured framework for emphasizing with those who will use these solutions, defining problem areas, generating innovative ideas, prototyping, and testing. In this framework, user and stakeholder engagement enables startups and SMEs designing for the GovTech domain to build upon relevant perspective to enhance the quality and effectiveness of services and solutions. Matter-of-factly, end-user and stakeholder engagement can take place throughout the different stages of the design process, following different modalities, such as workshops and hands-on experimentation, from the early research stages to the prototyping and validation. This means that involving end users and stakeholders in shaping GovTech solutions isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, it is a flexible and dynamic practice that can be tailored to suit the specific needs and objectives of each project. For instance, co-creation sessions might be initiated at the very beginning to inform the analysis of the context and shape the initial phases of a design process, particularly effective during activities like user research. Design thinking workshops can be put in place to support the definition of a problem statement and set the project goals collaboratively with users. Later on, workshops and collaborative sessions can be organized to brainstorm innovative ideas and explore potential solutions in a collaborative and collective manner. During the prototyping and testing phase, engaging users through feedback collection mechanism becomes crucial to refine and adapt the solution based on their real-world insights. To add more clarity and concreteness to the concept, we will use Easy Rides as a case study. Easy Rides is a European H2020 project that engages migrants to address the challenges they face in addressing public services. Public services act indeed as interfaces to rights, being key factors in the integration process. Easy Rides combines co-creation and AI technology to make it easier for immigrants to understand and assess the services they are entitled to, by reducing language barriers while trying to lessen problems related to overcomplicated bureaucratic procedures. To tackle these challenges, the project puts in place 2 cycles of experimentation in 4 different pilots across Europe, and 8 services were designed or redesigned. Each time, each pilot built multi-actor ecosystems that put together immigrants, public sector bodies, researchers, and technological players. Their fruitful interplay led to the development of an array of solutions that provide personalized, context-aware information to its users, taking into account their multiple needs. Overall, the design process, designed for each cycle of experimentation, unfolded to phases that can be associated with the 4 design thinking phases of context analysis, problem framing and reframing, envisioning solutions, prototyping, and testing. In each phase, stakeholders and end users were continuously involved, ensuring that all needs were not only considered, but generally represented, thoughtfully integrated. In the following, we delve into the specific engagement strategies employed, the advantages they brought, and the challenges confronted when dealing with a diverse array of stakeholders with varying backgrounds, objectives, and power dynamics, as well as with end users with fragilities due to their status of migrants, which need to be kept into account. The design process started with analyzing the context, confirming a multi-layer complexity magnified by the diverse composition of the ecosystem and its associated requirements. A pivotal step was the initial ethnographic research that triggered the entire process, enabling the identification of previously undisclosed, vaguely or just partly perceived pain points and moments of distress. Throughout this phase, the design team in charge of user research closely accompanied migrants during their interaction with government offices, gaining first-hand insights into their experiences with the service. Participant observation provided valuable insights into challenges encompassing, for example, language barriers, bureaucratic intricacies, and discriminatory behaviors across all levels. The observation was then enriched through a series of interviews serving as a cross-reference for the gathered insights. This comprehensive process included participation from various key stakeholders: migrants, representing the end users, administrative and ICT personnel from the municipalities, relevant stakeholders from the broader ecosystem, including NGOs and other public entities associated with the service. Building upon this set of information, the engagement process involved stakeholders into co-design sessions facilitated by the service design team of a project, which played a critical role in turning essential information into valuable knowledge. For instance, the stakeholder map and the ecosystem map were collaborative field, offering a moment of meaningful discussion about the context, its actors, their role, and outputting a visual representation of the relationship between migrants and other contributors within the ecosystem. For instance, the pilot in Palermo, focusing on the service for requesting residence certificates, can be used as an illustrative example. It highlighted several critical needs. On the migrant side, there's a strong call for improved communication and understanding with service employees. There is a pressing demand to reduce the waiting time, as delays can be frustrating and counterproductive, being obstacle to integration. Many suggest the value of linguistic mediators to bridge potential language barriers, otherwise serving as an unsurmountable obstacle. Furthermore, there's a clear consensus on the need to eliminate discriminatory practices towards migrants, who are often seen as burdens. In parallel, the administrative offices strongly advocated for streamlining the procedures, highlighting the urgency to simplify and expedite these processes. They emphasized the importance of efficient appointment management and the availability of translated documents to enhance user comprehension. Additionally, social workers expressed a keen desire for timely responses to their requests, underlining the value of procedures that minimize delays. Furthermore, workers from the reception center pointed out the need to address bureaucratic complexities that have been impeding the inclusion of young individuals in the community, fostering greater independence. The findings about the user experience were then synthesized into a user journey map. Throughout this phase, representatives from different stakeholder groups were also engaged and encouraged to identify and highlight their individual pain points. This collaborative effort enriched the user journey map with a multitude of unique perspectives, fostering a mutual understanding of various needs within the ecosystem. Specifically, a first-hand understanding of the technological, linguistic, and procedural barriers faced by migrants was gained. Overall, the context analysis provided a comprehensive and cohesive representation of the various actors involved in service provision, pointing out their respective roles, needs, and competencies they brought to the table. Next, the team entered the problem framing and reframing, identifying emerging needs and connecting them to the specific gaps in the existing public administration services. All the information gathered were synthesized, considering the big picture with its many layers. The numerous and complementary needs that surfaced from the context analysis were refined into actionable insights. This phase ultimately provided a deeper understanding of a problem, taking into account the various stakeholders affected or interested in it. Both end users and stakeholders were actively engaged in this process, both through direct interaction and collaborative sessions. These were held to collectively elaborate on the findings. These moments were invaluable for open discussions, which increased awareness and understanding among everyone involved. Advancing with one of the examples from the Palermo pilot, the problem framing and reframing shed light on the primary need for standardizing procedures at registry office to ensure equitable treatment for all users, eliminating potential distinction. Additionally, a significant reframing involved the frustration stemming from misunderstanding and process failures. To address this challenge arising within the ecosystem, the project put in place a specific hackathon, for a total of 8 hackathons during the project. The goal was to push technological boundaries leveraging cross-fertilization and cross-border collaboration. Each hackathon aimed to co-create new solutions by actively involving migrants, public sector officials, ICT experts and NGO activists, valuing their diversity backgrounds and skill sets. Indeed, a key premise behind hackathons and the generation of solutions that followed is that the more diverse the team is, the better the solutions. Consequently, the hackathon stimulated the generation of solutions through collective idea generation. Insights from the previous phases were distilled into a challenge that was open to a wide audience, welcoming members from society at large. The participation was open, but it required to join grouped in teams. During the hackathons, various teams presented their ideas. Each team's proposed solution was evaluated by a panel of experts representing the research domain, public sector, ICT, and migration expertise. The most promising idea was selected by the jury and subsequently developed within the pilot project. The selected idea underwent a phase of prototyping and testing, with a winning team receiving support from the pilot project to prototype and test their envisioned solution. Throughout the various prototyping stages, end users were constantly and actively engaged in early testing to gather the perspective on the solution and facilitate ongoing implementation. To leverage the opportunities of having the solution tested by its end users, the testing was conducted in the form of a thinking aloud test accompanied by participant observation. This allowed the team to grasp first-hand and direct insights on which aspects of the solutions were still in need of being revised. On this occasion, qualitative questionnaires were developed for different stages of the testing, addressing various aspects of the service. In the later stages of development, the solution underwent both ex-ante and ex-post quantitative assessments. These assessments aimed to compare the as-is situation that migrants experienced prior to the service intervention with the experience resulting from the adoption of the prototype solution. This comprehensive end-user engagement allowed the pilot project to gauge the extent to which the solution impacted the user experience with the service. While the process has undoubtedly yielded numerous benefits, it's important to acknowledge the challenges that have also faced. The context, by its very nature, presented a substantial level of complexity. One notable challenge was associated with communication difficulties experienced by the end users. Many of them faced language barriers because of a limited language proficiency, and some even struggle with literacy issues. This posed a significant obstacle when trying to engage them effectively in the design process. Furthermore, the migrants involved in the project exhibited different levels of experience with technology and service interactions. This variance in familiarity led to lower self-confidence among the individuals when it came to contributing to the design efforts. The skepticism presented among several of the migrants engaged largely stemmed from the frustrating experiences they had encountered. However, this feeling was swiftly overcome thanks to the co-creation approach that was embraced. This approach placed the migrants at the center of the design process, considering their needs as guiding principles throughout. Additional challenges come from the ecosystem. The team had to navigate within a diverse network of stakeholders encompassing NGOs, ICT experts, researchers, and public authorities. Establishing a common understanding among these stakeholders required transcending technical jargon to ensure effective communication, particularly with users who had different backgrounds and limited proficiency in technical language. Furthermore, the ecosystem exhibited bottlenecks and loops involving multiple actors and technologies, each with different objectives, powers, and agendas. In order to mediate and encourage cooperation among these stakeholders, the team embraced an intercultural approach, acknowledging the significance of cultural sensitivity and mutual understanding within this diverse context. Lastly, the dynamic interplay between migrants, associations, NGOs, developers, and public administrations provided valuable insights for orienting transformation and strategic planning in the development of public services. By actively engaging with end users and understanding their perspectives, public administrations and developers were exposed to new ideas and considerations that informed their decision-making processes.